There is now reached Njal on his throne inside. Oh la la, where telematics, says Svin overweight and is the first of the three heroes into the office. Office, entertainment, more luxury kitchen. The latest multi-microphones are stacked. Special designs for sweet and sour. Or simply watch multiple warm up. Man, 1 minute per dish should be enough, but usually. A Botel back in the corner looks intently at his master. This raises a digipad now in his direction. Immediately makes itself away from the hard-working assistants. Now it takes forever again. Njal mutters to himself. Patchara takes a look at the pad. A hamburger and fries is to recognize it. In addition, colored sugar showers. The robot was already back. He opens 2 multi-wave ovens. Puts into the food and pushes the button. Then he passes the open cola at the telematics. Glug, glug. Half is already gone. Bing, the minute dishes are done. Zack, you also end up in his hands. The robot sets off on his corner, to the charging station. Njal, it can be tasted. Patchara now shakes his head slightly. She said as diplomatically as possible. Mr. Svinenysh, technology today can do so much more than just hot food. Svinenysh makes between fries and burgers. Carefully drive the young daughter away from a good family. Down in Lipuro's intensive care, but the institution of your majesty in person. Stomach stapling, thousands yet to be done. Njal looking in your direction, while wiping his mouth. Zwischenmahlzeit ended. Determined as something at which he told Patchara to be annoyed now without any trace its history. Yes. I was there. When a man named Coldrust. The told me the same thing. I was ready for. First, the balloon, without success. My stomach has doubled in volume. Patchara Henley and look at each other. Njal continues. After the surgery, stomach stapling. Unfortunately. I grew anew once again. The doctors were baffled. They blamed it on the almost zero gravity up here. Quote, before the second surgery, they studied only once the result and said she eventually. During the damages from the now larger than the benefits. Therefore you have left it. Since then. Yes, it's just incredibly delicious. I eat just simply happy. Could do this all day long, because if there was something up here. Quote, but now it's over. I hold my weight. Up here. I weigh 20 pounds. Ideal weight. Patchara pulls the brow, and Henley shrugs his shoulders helplessly. Svinenysh of Ruba's gone underground, he looks much better. The whole game and entertainment technology with great interest. Njal is also inattentive. It runs just a show suspiciously similar to the Terra Pure Talent. Before he fully grasps Henley Wegd Street now the word. Tell me Mr. Svinenysh, are you here alone? Where did all the physicists? Henley had little inkling that he had spoken to the favorite theme of thicknesses. He winks at his screen to black and turns to his audience. Physicist. Never heard. What is it? Know of which no one is here for a long time. That should keep the little bit of good old Njal going. Are deducted all out for strange energy propulsion lab. Quote, excuse me, please what, asks the young prince. Well, the tinker around at warp drive, Njal answered. Without any success. I might add. When a warp will be times he needs just strange energy. I.e. those with negative density. Quote, my lord, what exactly should be frittered money? This is a grave billion. No benefit to date. Here the old space tunnel that can keep this underqualified telematics going. He shakes his head misunderstood. Patchara is now a little sad. She sympathizes with the poor Njal, he was a good guy. Well, it probably also has compassion for his other problem. Resolutely continued the tunnel engineer. But that's what I do too. Along with my love bots I think that everything here in order. Mess that I got approved only 200th okay, with Nef's helps are now 250, still far too few. The tunnel works. About fast light travel. A childish illusion, if you ask me. Yes, the physics, in addition to the meal, it is his favorite subject. Henley would have only known. However, he comes from one subject. Big Bang. Why's one of you why you prefer this scheme, huh? He looks around. Svinenysh already playing. Well, they are hoping for properties. Place, space, time, inconceivable without Big Bang. At steady state all fall away. Of course. Big Bang is just as wrong. Patchara Henley nudges and points over to the network console. Curious to sneak there. Finally back online. Unfazed, he continues Njal. Now they have it wobble. Out of desperation. I would think. So is your model. Steady state total in his Eigenschaftslogik. The generic term is clear. That's the beauty. Over there he stands around and stares impassively in the area. His colleagues knew it burned 100% sure. All issues resolved. Quote, "Oh yes, the key word is permanent," he sighs. Finally, without an audience. He looks around. Patchara Henley and fight each holographic. You flail wildly in front of your screens. Svin Zocht Ultrajumper. Ground, what is it? Ask his feet. Therefore wishes Njal, as so often, even good appetite and keeps his pad again towards a delicious dessert this time bought us to see it. Each session is drawing entertainment to an end sometime, and even here in the cozy office giant baby, this is so. The reality. The mission has a higher priority. Henley asks why the happy clown telematics ends sometime in passing. Mr. Svinenysh, when you go really wrong, brr-woo, was his reply. Oh, yes, so that finally stops meanness, yes. I answer my sister Andra have received. It has the third shift early indicators morning local time. I.e. the gloves are for you in 7 hours. Quote. Over there is the meeting room. Although there never held any. A couple of blankets are in there too. It sleeps well at 0.05 grams. Good night. Quote. He leans back in his throne. This immediately runs into an optimal ergonomic sleeping position. Henley looks around. He also looks into 2 pairs of sleepy eyes. With his hand he waved toward the next room. Not 5 minutes later, our 3 heroes have fallen asleep. Njal, you would probably do what most good. Whether this has been achieved with the tone. Galactic remains doubtful. Even the Svinenysh Ruba proposes 5 times on his ears. Now it has come. The waiting room tunnel. The children eagerly enter the office of the supervisor. This casually leaning back in his chair, a sweet omelette in one hand and a latte in the other. Between bites, he mutters. Get out. I blow you back. Did the circuit switched? Andra and greets me nicely. Tell her your jam is the bringer. Bye-bye. Henley asks. We still have to be weighed. Exactly to the gram. Quote. Grunts Svinenysh, which, yes, of course, is fully automated from the start. Belly move brings little. Do not worry. I got you on the monitor to do as tell you what. Anything else? Henley and Svinenysh itself has no more questions, but says Patchara Petch-a-boon. Yes. Thank you for your help Njal. Quote. This comment has effect. Happy smiling now sits the giant in his chair. It even appears that he was a little red. Zack. Again the tunnel. Now it must go soon. Whoosh. Patchara cries out, get rid of swirl. The path is specified. Unlocked. After some back and forth, you now need to be in power next to the accelerator tunnel. No more branches, only an endlessly long, straight course. One has the impression as if he is 1/1000th of a degree turns inward. Svinenysh flies the fastest. As with the plunge, he stretches his hands before him. The optimum streamlined shape. Okay, every now and then he makes a back flip, but just so the others can catch up with him. After another 10 minutes ebbing away from the airstream, they land. What wonders closed before another door. Tunnel gamma I expense inorganic is to read it. At the same Y'all's baritone sounds. Please stand up. Before the door is balanced. In green, go. Quote. After this procedure, she is finally seeing. The transport capsule. Shiny, bright polished them hanging there, only the top mounted on the ceiling. It is the transport device out into the room right next to the collision of the beams. Patchara is queasy. Henley's any consolation, although he has no recollection of the actual journey. It gets in and gets out of film cracking, man. Done away with low spert, the whole, very different but Svinenysh without seeing any danger he tet. Go on, Juhu. Quote. As if this is part of the tunnel engineer's last announcement. Okay. I'll open now. Then end the communication. I slide out of the capsule and initiate the beam. If you were to survive it. See you soon. Remember. In me all over. Even Queen Hypatia the First personally. Whoosh, the capsule will pop open. Zack is already gone Svinenysh. Henley then a picture of misery in the form of a boon Patchara in her arms. The interior of the capsule transport, the spaceship if you will, is Spartan. The only electronics on board consists of the door opening device and the sterile interior lighting. If something goes wrong here from the outside. Game over. A wiggling you drive off. Window without so bad. A final grinding noise. Now, the transporter must have released and floating free in space capsule. Film cracking, 23, in the new world. Well, what's going on here? No idea. Our heroes look at each other. Svinenysh rubs his cheeks. Patchara flies around in a corner. Even Henley, who had used the tunnel space once already, is based on the hand on the wall. Svinenysh gurgles, confused than they already were, hanging on Hook's transport tunnel Gamma 2. What was that? He asked helplessly. Patchara snorts with your pads, and is keeping a hand to his forehead. A meaningful response. Soon you will be greeted by Nyal's sister. Everyone was excited about your appearance. If something in the family. Wash. The capsule is opened. Whining noises immediately penetrate into the interior. All look around scared. Is something broken? No, everything is okay. Before the cabin, look in the face of a happy jolly gypsy with pitch black hair. If you could just stop with the yelling. Dragist. Telefono, she croaks in the crookedest tones. In between, she shook the hands of 3 children, and suggests you to come along. Waving her arms above her dances. Svinenysh must originally come from the other side and spring from an old raw nomadic tribe. It is practically the opposite of a Poking. They probably emigrated with her husband. Almost impossible for ordinary citizens, but possible in a direct relationship. Svinenysh. She is petite, thin, but has a spherical abdomen. Later it becomes clear why. First time back to Svinenysh and his weighty concerns. Ausgekreischt, stop immediately. Closing off, silence must be found. Grab it in your direction. Svinenysh then actually stops your lovely singing. After the poo, says the young Ruba. Terrible, terrible, that is really bad. If you already have that here to make you sing. He expresses his calm. Galactic is going on. Nyal's sister listens to exactly 5 seconds, then pulls, frowned contemptuously, and then twice more loudly, humming your gypsy love songs. Svino's calm is simply drowned out. It is honestly horrible. Been held with the children, follow your ears. Oh yes. When the pimp himself Svinenysh Ruba's ears, then this is an indicator of absolute atrocity. Fortunately, your office is soon reached. It is one of several telematics rooms, which are all closed, because of shift work. Their realm is the exact opposite of your brother over there in Raw system. It looks here, in addition to the monitoring technology, such as in a witch's kitchen. 100 years old. It's more of a caboose as a workplace. Everywhere onions, fresh vegetables and salad. Very high fiber diet. So that's the pot belly. At least you stopped in here. Curious looks at the 3 newcomers. Saying, so dear children, now you get only once a hearty soup. While you are all hungry, but what is this potion? Eggs, onions, tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, garlic and so on, all cooked together. Shortly thereafter, Henley and Svinenysh sprinting around the corner. Patchara has no problems, the contrary, it is pretty lax. Well, who knows the truly oriental dishes, what is there already a little gypsy soup it? Andra Bouncy warbles in the omak che your favorite melodies. It is all about love songs. Since the children have the desire as soon as possible to get down to Centauri, Patchara begins diplomatic conversation. Dear Mrs. Svinenysh, determined, but you have to worry too, look around the tunnel mode. There's still much to do. Right. Andra Svinenysh interrupts your cleaning action and will only answer. Oh, that no, send me over Njal macros. Running properly. With one click, the transfer to the bots. Patchara, she looks at her in amazement. Even my colleagues from Snow and purely just before shift change and want a few tips from me. Funny. My onion soup, they may be less. Quote. Yes, it's true. I've really no idea of telematics. One could also say I have no information of Onic tongue. Quote. The children make face. Andra Svinenysh seems to like her wit. Good mood, she continues. Here, let me show you again. B13C maintenance team must control the induction junction 762 alpha. You beblinzelt your com exactly one time Nyal's macro starts running. There are frantic action on screen to detect. Well, done. So, sings Andra and sets about cleaning up further. The young diplomat's daughter asks. At the end of service, what will happen to us? Bring us down to Liporo. We just have to go there. Quote. It reaches its telematics division Gypsy.com, whereupon the kitchen technician replied, "Oh so, ho ho, classy planer. Regent Alley one who elegant. Throws out the black hairs on the back. Yes, I'll bring it right down. My Rocktar commutes but usually only between here and home. Among these darn complicated programming. Are over the government quarters degree 3 kilometers, the MSSTET year jump then." A statement that certain someone called the plan. "We are hopping jumping," Svinenysh asks incredulously. As the only concern should all be possible, Andra smiles in his direction. "My husband has a sporting goods store. You borrow a couple of yo jumper. But look at this, you're sending them back." She looks over at Henley. This joyful laughs and says, "It is clear, the young prince sees his friends. They have no idea what it is, this footwear." You look helplessly at him. Apparently, the only jumping boots on the POC Prime all the rage. All three are now in a spirit of optimism. Andra stirred meanwhile, a new toxic compound. "There was some weird-looking vegetable paste for breakfast tomorrow. Then you still blinks fast a few of Nyal's multi-macros, or modify, in which case your screen come alive. With a few clicks it has activated its routine maintenance. This is nested so intelligent, that can be baggy even Andra's highly qualified colleagues with just the ears. Yes, you Andra is estimated for several reasons. She is no competition, keeps out of everything out there, and if you praise your soup, you even get access to Nyal's hacks. Today, she breaks unusually early from the tents. 20 minutes before shift change. This is necessary because the dear colleagues to show up to a quarter of an hour earlier just to acquire the latest technology Linnaesu. This is so good that you spoon up even now and then a gypsy soup. 24 Joe Centauri quick Rocktar docking platform for the employees of the tunnel Gamma 2 is reached. Andra will connect to COM board with the electronics and squints one time knew exactly when it's your vehicle, such as on invisible rails. He goes down to Centauri, the capital of the POC Prime. Henley's home port. Curious and peeps at the same time overweight Svinenysh the Ruba from his cockpit. What he knew was not so much that it may well be that he is the first of its kind that has ever put his foot in Indie system. The more one ponders it. Yes. Why should one take a cheap cleaning power over to the new world? Unless the time for the deep shot missions. One thing is certain. In any case, he is the first tunnel travelers of his species, though highly unofficial. Andras Rocktar goes to glide. The dawn begins. The shining city lies at your feet. The aircraft joins a chain of other one of the evening rush hour. Among you splendid streets and boulevards. The Rocktar pans right to land. A house is particularly striking. It's pretty neon. Linnaesu sports flashes in every color. So this is the fun sport shop by Andras man. Svinenysh jumps out first, and considered the business with big eyes. Here's the original Joe's is obvious. All four entered the store. A bell announces this in indoors. But instead of her husband, Andras rattles off an obviously older bot. "Welcome dear customers, what's that for one?" He looks towards Svinenysh, its CPU matrix glows, he shakes his head slightly. "When Linnaesu Sport, all our products are backed by artificial DNA. Are you able to leave the store without prejudice, so we make you trace until we pin down? We are still not escaped unscathed. In all other cases. Welcome. Yes, but here's the latest hand-signed Jumper Pro X. Andra is for the children. It seems like my dear husband is once again on home visits. Terribly spoiled these rascals of the nouveau riche. They're too stupid to take care of yourself to your jumper. Quote, let me introduce our good old bot Alpha Mech Tech class. He holds the position here. Even if he sometimes forgets to charge itself, the benefits outweigh. Oh, and luckily there's you. No emotion in robots. Patchara looks around. Among other unusual sporting goods are actually two. The ominous Joe jumper. There are simple jumping boots with a spring below it. With a little imagination, see this from normal mode as a J, it jumps back to you as it is more or less a small O. These three gentlemen here, my dear body, Andra points to the children, are our latest beta testers. Take a pair of three for you finish. Quote, very good, rattled the addressed. Henley and Patchara are cared for quickly, then Svinenysh's turn. The Ruba on big feet. At least now this is worth a mention, because the poor bot almost desperate. All boots are too small. Finally, he digs up from the bottom, the final package with the largest size produced. With difficulty, he went over the foot and ankle of the alien. But then it fits like a glove. It almost looks as if running Svinenysh's apparatus adapts flexibly to the shaft. He looks around, there is certainly Henley, now 30 centimeters higher. Patchara wobbles suspect, but after all. You already upright without holding on. Svinenysh is already one with his new boots. Ready to leave. Body further rattle. In this new prototype as it's the latest spring geometry. Nanotechnology is the finest processed in year. On the side of the boot spring are 3 buttons. Running, sports and endurance mode. By default, when shipped, they are currently ongoing. Quote, "Sport is pressed quickly," shouted Svinenysh between and starts jumping up faster and higher. Soon he was juggling or bouncing on the ceiling. He quickly loses control. Wah! He roars between each jump. Body is on the spot. He jumps at the Ruba, pulls him from the feet and ends up with him along the corridor. He quickly pressed the run button. Svinenysh shakes and shakes himself. Then he struggles to his feet. He braced his hand on the nearest shelf. Energy too brutal, he finally stammered. His audience is between laughing and crying. Patchara said only, "And with these things we should skipping 2 miles, outside it's better," Henley replied. "We'll see." He goes on Anda and thanked. "You know what? I'll buy 3. Your credits are in the account tomorrow. Thank you for your help. If I can even do something good, let me know." Only the young diplomat's daughter thinks a little further. She goes on to Andra and asks, "Are you gave me your community's number? Because I have a feeling that this might sometimes be important. Also, I could tell you then send over recipes from the country of the rising sun." Both had reasons for Andra hands and feet, so this was clarified. They also would have helped the children in each case. Patchara thanks, but you know that you have thus created a wire into the home. A combination of all authority over. A secret channel Andra N. Jal Nef Mikkel and home to the Petch-a-boons. Svinenysh the incident just been forgotten, hobbles out first. Higher and higher he bounces around. Somewhere. Henley must intervene. You know where to go. Su Wu, HH addressed the question between each jump, then the enlightenment. Ah, right. Yes. As you first. Quote. He calmed down. Henley sets off slowly, then Patchara Svinenysh and lastly. Henley looks around. With a grim face behind him his best friend. Amazing how quickly you learn to jump. Not 3 minutes later, you already have the hang of it. Time for a shortcut, Henley calls and turns into a backyard. Now there's course, Zack over garbage cans and parked between flycasses go over a fence. Svinenysh now makes art jumps, holds suspect Patchara as good. Watching people back there is this stupid yapper, but it is the shortest path. Henley jumps to the next plot. Wow arrrhhrrr rowa uu, immediately comes the poison mushroom shot. Oh no, screams Henley, he has given a boost. A second, more toxic journeyman rushes frantically out of his hut. The barkers are so stupid, so you immediately pick out the weakest link. Both are now pursuing Patchara, whenever you end up trying to fight both Svinenysh. Naps is in a panic, you start to cry. Bad, the only incites the crazy pair even more. But Svinenysh is on the spot. From the nearest tree, he plucked a fruit slushy. Zack in the face of an attacker. The citrus bullet bursts, whining to make the hit of Danon. Appear to contain much acid. Some fruits here on Pak Prime. The second beast is out of control. He blocked the way Patchara. This haphazard jumps up and down. No bite abzabikoman single goal. Svinenysh observed. Then he takes precise measurements and jumps him from behind on his tail. The claimant howls terribly beaten and goes off to lick his backside in his stall in the last corner. Finally, the young diplomat's daughter Henley follow in his direction. In this secondary courtyard jumps so high it goes on and what's over there trying Mitsubekaman going on. Relieved, he notes that now follow both unharmed. Was something wrong, he asks in the round. His best friend there is no mistake, the answer is ready. No, what should it be? Let's go on. Or do you live here, little prince? So the trio hops briskly towards further Regent Avenue 1. Svinenysh now calls between each jump, Joe Centauri, or something similar. The environment will open. Free park-like areas are the flying children. In the distance, already an imposing building is visible. Henley's home. Patchara is impressed, but it cleverly hidden. The rear entrance is reached soon. Henley indicated by his friends to convert to running. After a few somersaults, Svinenysh does so well, with a slight murmur. Only specially authenticated visitors have access to those upscale home to Westerburg. So no problem for Henley. Stow 3 jumpers in your backpack and put on your normal footwear. Henley then holds his comm across goal and our 3 heroes are entering. 25. Pow wow mo I pung. Pow. Alertly Patchara jumps behind a tree. Svinenysh expressed as flat as a flounder on the lawn. Henley yells. Stop, stop Opa Willy's Henley I am, he's over there on the trivy you liar, another shot pang. Can Grandpa Willy stop it, Henley now roars as loud as he. Who are you, reuffed the attacker, go out, show yourself you coward and hands above your head. Henley is doing as he was told and walked a few meters in the direction of the shots. Well, as you are so small you could try almost. Come forth, my eyes were sometimes even better. Outside the back entrance of the building, an old man with smoking gun. He has many years under his belt, but looks wiry and had, in spite of the show, just moves too kindly in the face. Under his white hair, 2 eyes were squinting intently towards Henley. Finally recognizes young janitor William Rechtenwerk Prince. Devil again. Henley, where did you come from? He asks sheepishly. Meanwhile, pulls himself back on the Svinenysh Ruba. Also Patchara Petch-a-boon carefully peeks out from behind your tree. I'll leave, giddy Henley. Good to see that everything is the same, good mood, he tells his friends behind him. May I introduce you? Our dear caretaker Rechtenwerk Willy. Willy called Grandpa, well-being is different. Both have spoken to. Instead, you love G-Tay, faces mounted. So see that the people over there from the old world. Since we have so little to fear. Patchara smiles helplessly. Opa Willy now turns directly to Svinenysh. Who are you? Svin throws himself into bowl and proclaims that. Am I Svinenysh gal, am I Svinenysh? You are Master Budget Henley boom. Pow. Quote. Grandpa Willy does not understand. Ruba colleague talked a bit twisted. Willy, Henley responds quickly. But he is otherwise completely normal, my parents are there, he asked further. No, that's why I'm so nervous, replied the hard-working caretaker. Raisha is on some Levi's representative congress and at the top pocking. Comes with pure. Because talking is better. Inside the cozy craft booth is precise, the janitor, he asks directly. So why exactly are you here? Henley, reluctantly, he replied. Well, I would need to talk with my father. Personally. Although we are unmolested out of school, start over because fortunately soon spring vacation, even if it is late summer here, but if my signature is found calm. Sure I can take another. But how is the security for the target device to trick? Quote. If my father is in the pocking, then I need as quickly as possible then. This is the best. What about the fleet? Even a flying base is there, or just scrap this old heap? What do you mean? Willy asks angrily. The old seagull flies like an angel. At least this is still good old real handmade fly. Henley pulls a face. I'll fly up, if you will. Trifle. Opa Willy tinkering for ages in his stead. Seagull, I mo rum. One of the last old type aircraft, before the time of the first visitors from the raw in your flykas. Since there is no conventional fuel to buy more, he admits to filling the empty surrounding pharmacies or any fuel burns itself substitutes for alcohol. The start is a sensation, less because of the blue smoke, but rather because of the fact that I actually mo eventually takes off. The sprawling lawn behind the estate ranges from just this. Some trees in the northwest rear look as though beheaded. What do you mean? Henley asks the group. Oh yes, flying. Jet, says Svinenysh immediately without trace of a threat to discover. Patchara lowers her head and shaking him slightly. Opa Willy has even more in store. Desperate times. Largely because of this Torg Yuri Petrovich, the military spokesman of Her Majesty. What a Rottweiler, this general. They should leave us alone. Quote. Well, whatever the case. My seagull is perhaps old as the hills, but I'm technically weapons up to date. Here. I am armed, have the latest series of gunfire there. Quote. He got over to an old secretary and pulls out some of these self-loading pistols. Henley grabs one and puts them on. The ammunition is elegant, flattering and very hard to distinguish from a normal to a belt holder comm. The fully automatic rapid-fire silenced handgun itself is extremely lightweight and fits comfortably in your hand. Amazing what modern mechanics is capable of. This is excellent ballistics, Willie says proudly. I'll give you 3 pair for emergencies. Woe unto you play around with it. The hollow point bullets on the belt last for several thousand rounds. Quote, are hundreds of cartridges. On the side to set the speed. If you're careless, you empty the magazine fired in a second. Quote, the ammo itself is extremely toxic. Hydra shock heads with lead dorn, perfect mushrooming with maximum impact. Patchara flinches, her stomach turns around. Does the serious? Be glad I have you greeted with my old gun, but who wants to like a corpse in the backyard? OPA Willie laughs out loud, but the children, especially Patchara, has a very queasy feeling in my stomach. Her is more than the others realize that they are on any vacation trip. Only in an absolute emergency. You would be willing to explain these monsters to create a weapon. Now's then on to the next shock, you muttering to himself, as the troops marched into an old warehouse. Oh no, over there you is yes. A true museum piece. What an amazing sight, Grandpa Willis is immediately comment. He goes to a dusty chest and digs out some old-fashioned spectacles. As co-pilot, here are your glasses. My quick gull of course, has a cockpit, but it takes sometimes. Particularly at cruising speed. Patchara snorts through the baking, but does so just as you are called. Henley itself has set up a questioning glance. Only the adventurous Svinenysh with fervor here. OPA Willie climbs behind the wheel. Svin jumps from 0 to place next to the co-pilot. Patchara and Henley put in row 2. Then I'll fire up the bird time, says Willie, and presses the start button. Plots. Plop, astonishing, the propellers begin to spin. Back of the blue exhaust smoke it.